Pikmin 3 is a great game, but sometimes it's a little bit too easy. So today, we're gonna make it a little less easy by giving each of the 5/6 areas in the game their own special challenges. So let's just get right into it. First of all, I'm playing on Ultra Spicy mode for some added challenge, and I'll be skipping over day 1 of this run because it's mostly just tutorial stuff, although there were a few notable things that happened on this day. This cave had no floor, so that's interesting, and also, that's what she said. On to day 2, where the challenge really begins in the Garden of Hope. Since we only have one kind of Pikmin, I had to get a bit creative here, so today's challenge involves one feature that is completely unique to Pikmin 3, the Copad camera. All I have to do is take a picture of every single enemy I fight. I know this isn't the most exciting challenge in the world, but trust me, it gets better later. I start off the day by getting all 21 of my red Pikmin out to start working on a bridge before quickly seeing our first enemy, a butterfly. I snap a quick pic, which honestly was absolutely gorgeous in my opinion, like I really got that thing's good side, before instantly killing it. Moving on, we also have to fight a cute little dwarf Bulborb. This time I wanted to get an action shot, so I let a red Pikmin whack him a few times. Beautiful! Eventually I finish the bridge, and as soon as I cross it, I'm greeted by a big ol' normal Bulborb. Now I could just get a picture of him while he's sleeping, like a creepo, but I thought it would be more exciting to wake him up first, so I did. Now that that's over with, we turn the corner to see Brittany getting freaky with some cherry blossom petals. Not a good look for her. Going a bit further, we find our first fruit, which prompted Alf to say this. She also said that. After getting some Pikmin to carry that back, we go into a cave where we fight a Medusal Slurker in order to save our first rock Pikmin, and of course I got another picture while I was at it. It kind of looks like a Cyclops here. Equipped with our new solid companions, we go outside and free Brittany from her enclosure.
My name is Xander Dingus.
Now would be a good time to mention that I'm not going to be collecting all the fruits this time around. My only goal is to escape from PNF 404 alive. So now that the gang's all here, I make my way to a different part of the Go, that's short for Garden of Hope, where we meet some fiery blowhogs, snap some quick pics, and build another bridge which leads us to the boss of this area, the Armored Maudad. This one's not too bad. I just smashed its exoskeleton with my rocks and then beat up its body with my reds. And don't worry, I got a pretty good action shot of it charging towards me while I was beating it to death. Eventually the Maudad threw a little bit of a fit before dying and throwing up a data glutton, which we need to unlock the next area. He also threw up a fire-breathing feast, which is cool. That's strike 3, Alf. Nothing else very notable happened, except the fire-breathing feast was quite literally half a second away from getting back to the ship before the day ended. On to day 3, we discover a new area called the Distant Tundra, where Captain Charlie is waiting to be rescued. Alf tries to land, but manages to crash into some rocks, resulting in Brittany getting freaky with the snow. After she's done with that, she gets up and discovers yellow Pikmin, which leads me right into the challenges of this new area. I can only use yellow and rock Pikmin, so that means no red. I have to defeat the snowy shaggy longlegs, and I have to kill Brittany. Why? Just because I think you guys would like it. Well, time to bust out of this cave. Whoops. Now that we're back outside, we see that Brittany has been separated from Alf, and the two need to pass Pikmin back and forth to build a connected bridge. Most of today is just spent doing normal things. The only part that posed any challenge was these pyroclasmic slooches. I set a bunch of Pikmin on fire, and one rock actually burned to death. But other than that, it was fine. I managed to finish the bridge and knock down this stone wall leading to a new cave. Brittany never learns. Also, I popped inside of the cave really quick just to get a little taste of this area's boss, the Behemoth Phosbat. I even did a little bit of damage before the day ended. On day 4, we start off by going right back into the Phosbat's cave, where I build about 3/4 of a bridge before I realize that I can just toss Alf and some yellows over, so I turn on the giant light, which totally makes the Phosbat lose his marbles. The spooky boss fight turns into a sad cave chase where you just beat up a poor helpless creature. Oh well. Charlie crawls out of the Phosbat, and now we only have 2 challenges left to complete in this area. But before we do them, I take some time to collect this item, another one that is completely unique to Pikmin 3, the Dodge Whistle. I don't think it gets enough love, so I figured we might as well pick it up. Now, onto the shaggy longlegs. I decide to leave Brittany behind while Charlie and Alf take on the creature, and down he comes. Usually you want to have some blues in this fight, since half of the arena is in the water, but I just waited until he stepped onto land and went to town with my rocks, making for a pretty easy kill. While all that was going on, I sent Brittany on her own little adventure to die. Yeah, I just let some joustmites maul her until eventually... challenge complete. Goodbye, distant tundra. Moving right along to day 5. Another day, another new area. Except not really, because we've already been to the tropical wilds. The challenges for this area are: make some elusive blue juice, study the exclusive swarming sheer grubs found only in this area, and if one of my Pikmin dies during the day, then I have to blow up every Pikmin that is currently outside of the onion. Starting off here, I realized just how quickly you can beat this area if you weren't doing anything extra. The only obstacle blocking you from the boss is just a singular paper bag, but of course we have more important things to do than fight area bosses. We've got to get the blue juice. But on my way to the ingredients, I encountered some of those swarming sheer grubs I was talking about earlier. I feel like a lot of people don't like them, but I don't understand why. I think they're great. The two fruits I was looking for were the Juicy Gaggle and the Zest Bomb. I knew where both of them were, but unfortunately, the Zest Bomb was giving me a real run for my money. It was inside of this peckish aristocrab over here who really wanted to stay in the water, so as soon as he came onto the shore, I kind of freaked out and threw a bomb rock while I was fighting a Wollihop. Wow, that was a lot. I broke its claw, but it was still alive, and now it was more scared than ever to step out of the water, so I guess we'll just try again tomorrow. The Juicy Gaggle, on the other hand, was easy peasy face wrinkler squeezy to collect. All I had to do was kill another Medusal Slurker for it. I didn't actually collect it today though, because I wanted to make sure I had the Zest Bomb to go along with it. That was basically it for day 5, but day 6 was when the real fun began. I started off by breaking open these eggs and waiting. Soon enough, the swarming sheer grubs showed up and had a feast. They drank all of the nectar and became huge, which I thought was pretty cool to see for the first time. Then I went back to the peckish aristocrab. I tried to kill it again, but what do you know, it was just not working. So I made the executive decision to change making blue juice from a tropical wilds mission to a PNF 404 mission, meaning that I can just do it whenever I want in whatever area. Crisis averted, or so I thought. Uh-oh, you know what that means. I guess that's what I get for changing the rules around. I know what'll make me feel better. Showing off another swarming sheer grub ability. I went completely out of my way to pick up this delectable bouquet so that they would have something to cling onto, but when I went to see what happened to my Juicy Gaggle, this is what I saw. Yep, they were all over that berry, making it take 9 Pikmin to carry instead of just the usual 1. To punish them for this, I did what any sane person would do, and I brutally chucked rocks at them. Now that we've properly researched the swarming sheer grubs, we can move on to day 7. There's only one thing left to do in the tropical wilds, and that's defeat the area boss, the sand-belching Mere Slug. This boss isn't really bad at all if you have bomb rocks. You just have to toss one into its little sinkhole to send it careening through the air. It also has a move where it pops out of a little sand pile to vomit balls of sand, which can't even kill Pikmin. They just get buried if they get hit. I decided to throw Charlie into one of this thing's sinkholes just for fun, and he was perfectly fine down there. After a bit more beating, the Mere Slug finally drops dead, but not before throwing up a whole watermelon and the folded data glutton, which we need to access yet another new area. To start day 8, we unlock the aforementioned new area, Twilight River. The challenges for this area are: no using the whistle at all, meaning I can't regroup my Pikmin or save them from hazards, and I'm only allowed to use one captain throughout the whole area. My captain of choice, of course, is Brittany. The first thing I do after landing in this gorgeous area is put Alf and Charlie in the corner, where they belong. Brittany is now all alone, and the first thing she sees is a pink onion trapped in a spider web. The only way to reach it is by building a bridge. At this point, I encountered my first issue with the no whistle challenge. If a Pikmin tries to carry something back, it just gets stuck there now. But there is a way around this, which we'll talk about later. For now, I just pick up my Pikmin by bumping into them after they finish a task. At one point, a rock Pikmin decided that he wanted to collect some ultra spicy berries, and who am I to stop him? When I was carrying back the bridge fragments, these Pikmin were trying to return to a pile location, even though there were no more fragments there, and all I could do was watch as they rode a lily pad away from me. I did sort of want them back though, so I used the Drake's call all Pikmin back to base feature to bring them all home. Also, Brittany was trying to say something to me here, but I think she forgot how to form a sentence. With everyone back in the squad, it was time to go save the pink onion. I tossed 3 rock Pikmin at the arachnode and it destroyed the whole web. We finally have our little winged Pikmin to help out, except there's actually a pretty big problem with these guys. Because the winged Pikmin hover above the ground when they're idle, I can't just bump into them to pick them up, which means that if I ever let the wings get into an idle state, they're basically just stuck like that for the rest of the day. I'm sure that won't cause any problems tomorrow morning. I spent the rest of the day lifting up this branch and opening up a new waterway for us to travel through tomorrow. Starting day 9, I made a pretty dumb decision. I decided to pick up this delectable bouquet, and when the winged Pikmin brought it back to the base, they all got permanently stuck in the sky. Whoops. Oh well, nothing I can do about it now. It's time to travel downstream where Louie is being held captive on top of a giant tree stump. There's another bridge that needs to be rebuilt in order to reach the top, so I start trying to collect the fragments when I run into a bunch of Scornets. It was a pretty ugly battle, but I only lost one Pikmin in the end. Luckily, none of the fragment piles were very hard to reach, so by the beginning of day 10, the bridge was complete and I was making my way up the stump. Time to face off against the boss of Twilight River, the Scornet Maestro. I was completely unprepared for this fight because it's usually so easy, but not this time. My Pikmin were being flung all over the arena and they would not stop attacking the Scornets protecting the Maestro. It was so messy that I actually had to leave mid-fight and go back to my base to grab some yellows to help out. So many Pikmin were being captured during every single attack, but eventually I brought that big old butterfly bee hummingbird hybrid thing down to the ground for the last time. Our reward for this battle is Louie and a seed hive. After carrying him back to the Drake, we find out that he is in stasis and we'll just have to wait for him to wake up. The next morning, he does wake up, and the fire-breathing feast from earlier also decides to make a dramatic appearance. It literally just showed up for the entire cutscene, which I thought was pretty great. Now it's day 11 and we're back in the Garden of Hope, but even though we're in the same place as earlier, I'm actually gonna count this section as a separate place with its own challenges. Those being, I'm only allowed to use blue and rock Pikmin, and I can only attack enemies while an ultra spicy potion is active. So to start this day, I am going to immediately break one of the rules and use winged Pikmin to get this blue onion out of the ground. I don't know how we could get around doing this, so I guess we'll all just have to deal with it. Also, it's my challenge run and I can do whatever I want. Now that that's out of the way, we can go ahead and put those winged Pikmin back into the onion where they belong. Time to start getting the blue numbers up and take out some enemies around this place. I use my first ultra spicy potion and get right to work. While this is going on, I just want to say sorry for not uploading that much recently. I've been a little bit busy graduating, and also when I post this, I'm actually going to be on a plane to Ireland. So yeah, things are gonna be a little slow around here for a little bit. Anywho, now that I've taken out some more enemies, we've got bigger fish to fry, like this bug-eyed Crawmad over here protecting some fragments. He wasn't too bad, but I did have to use 2 potions on him because he kept stalling the fight by hiding in the ground. Oh yeah, remember how I still need to make some blue juice? I'm planning on combining this searing acid shock with a sunseed berry to make 1 full container of juice so that we don't, die, and then I'll collect this zest bomb over here right before the day ends to prepare the base for the blue juice. But to get purple juice, I decide to go back to Twilight River for day 12 and pick up some raspberries in the back of this cave, while also stocking up on some more ultra spicy spray and collecting the Scorch Guard, cause why not? Alright everyone, here we go. Moment of truth. I don't know if you caught that or not. Instant replay time. Did you see that? We made the tiniest, insiest little bit of blue juice, so I think that means challenge complete, basically. Anyway, day 13 rolls around and we are right back into the Garden of Hope. I think it's finally time to collect the fire-breathing feast, don't you? The main thing to do today was finish building this porcelain pot with my blues so I could finally get some rock Pikmin out and make my way to the other side of the pond. There was a peckish aristocrab over here, but I didn't want to waste any valuable spicy spray, so I just kind of ignored him while I built the bridge. With that complete, we make our way into a muddy area with a mysterious crystal in the middle. Technically, this part of the Quaggled Mireclops isn't a living creature, so we don't have to use spicy spray to attack it. Okay, now it's a living creature. I get right to work attacking its feet, forcing it to crash down so I can shatter its protective crystal. Honestly, this fight wasn't bad at all. The blue Pikmin tore through its health thanks to the spicy potions. After a few attack cycles, I finished it off, only losing 1 Pikmin in the process. We save Louis for a second time and carry him all the way back to the ship, where he reveals the true location of Olimar and the final area, the Formidable Oak. On day 14, we arrive to this area, and of course, we have our final set of challenges. I am not allowed to kill any enemies except for the Plasm Wraith, and I can only use the original Pikmin trio. That means only reds, yellows, and blues. So we start off by getting out the iconic trio and making our way towards the Termite Mound, where we see the Plasm Wraith doing something to Olimar. After getting exposed for its weird Olimar fetish, the Plasm Wraith freaks out and eats him. Luckily, we are able to break him free and are now tasked with carrying him back to the Drake, all while being chased by the Wraith in its slug form. I make my way through the cave without touching a single enemy. Killing enemies in this place just results in them turning into golden goop, so the only real benefit is getting them out of your way. Like these bulborbs right here were trying to block me from getting through, but they were kinda bad at their job. Also, I don't even need to kill enemies myself, because if I really want one dead, the Plasm Wraith can just do it for me. Yikes, poor Bulborb. Anyway, I keep chugging along until I get to this part. Instead of building the bridge like I normally do here, I decide to take the long way around, which involves a lot more walls and a lot more grubs, which would not stop eating my Pikmin. Luckily, the Plasm Wraith came along to save me and managed to kill a couple of them. Making it into the second part of the cave, we find some light bulbs and another bridge that needs repaired. While I was trying to collect some fragments, the Wraith trapped me in a corner where this happened. Well, there he goes, I guess. When this happens, all you have to do is break the Plasm Wraith apart before it makes it back to the beginning of the cave. At half health, it chooses an elemental attack, and luckily it chose fire. The good thing about this situation is, after you save Olimar, the creature gets stunned for a bit, giving me enough time to complete the blue bridge and turn on the big light bulb. Now all we have to do is leave the cave. Wow, this really wasn't that hard at all. I'm surprised nothing went wrong. Oh. Whoops. After that little mishap, I restarted the day and made it back to this point. Making it back to the Arachnode web, I realized something revolutionary. You can just walk right under it. Just as the day was nearing its end, we made it to the light at the end of the tunnel and back outside. The Plasm Wraith was not very happy with us and decided to eat Olimar, starting the real final boss fight. All you have to do to win is slowly remove golden goop from the main body and then destroy it. The Plasm Wraith's main method of attacking is stabbing your Pikmin. After a bit of time, it will reabsorb its goop to regenerate its health if it's not destroyed. Of course, I didn't get very far in the fight today because there wasn't much day left, but on day 15, I came back ready to finish it. What makes this boss so interesting is the variety of elemental attacks it can do. It's got fire, water, electricity, and crystal, which is the only one I can't do anything against. It can also fly, which is supposed to be countered with winged Pikmin, but you can just reach it with yellows if you try hard enough. After going back and forth for a bit and losing a bunch of Pikmin, the Plasm Wraith uses the last-ditch effort attack where it spits out 3 elemental cubes at the same time. After destroying those, I focused my attacks on the body until it eventually dropped dead. And with that, our Pikmin 3 challenge run is complete. I had so much fun doing this, it definitely made the game a lot more interesting, and I enjoyed not really caring about collecting all the fruits or trying to keep my Pikmin alive this time. I know my challenges weren't the most extreme things ever, and I didn't use any glitches or anything, but I hope they were good enough for you, and if you want to, you can tell me which area you think had the best challenges in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching this video, I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye!